The news hit Washington like a bolt from the blue. President Trump, never one to shy away from a bold move, had done it again. His pick for Homeland Security Secretary? None other than Kristi Noem, the firebrand governor of South Dakota. This wasn't just another appointment. This was personal. Noem, a staunch Trump ally, had been with him from the start. She echoed his fiery rhetoric on immigration. She stood by him during impeachment. Now she was being rewarded with one of the most powerful positions in government. The message was clear. Trump was doubling down on his agenda. He wanted someone he could trust, someone who shared his vision for America. And in Noem, he found his woman. The question on everyone's mind was America ready for Kristi Noem? Kristi Noem wasn't born into the political elite. She grew up on a ranch in South Dakota, learning the value of hard work and self-reliance. Those values shaped her worldview, a worldview that resonated with Trump's message of economic nationalism and America first. From her early days in the South Dakota legislature to her time in Congress, Noem built a reputation as a fierce conservative. She opposed abortion, gun control, and big government. She championed tax cuts and deregulation. In short, she was everything the Republican base loved. Then came Trump. Noem was an early supporter, drawn to his outsider status and his promise to shake up Washington. She campaigned tirelessly for him, becoming a familiar face at his rallies. When Trump won, Noem's star rose with his. Few issues are as close to Trump's heart as immigration. And on this issue, Noem was a kindred spirit. She believed in securing the border, reducing legal immigration, and cracking down on so-called sanctuary cities. As governor, she had walked the walk. Noem refused to allow refugees to resettle in South Dakota. She signed legislation making it harder for undocumented immigrants to access public services. Her message was clear. America was full, and those here illegally were not welcome. Critics accused her of being heartless, of demonizing immigrants. But Noem was unmoved. She saw herself as a protector, defending America from what she believed were existential threats. Her appointment to Homeland Security signaled that Trump's immigration agenda was far from over. Noem's rise to prominence hadn't been without its bumps. Her journey to the national stage was fraught with numerous challenges and controversies that seemed to follow her every step. Her time as governor was marked by a series of controversies that raised questions about her judgment and her fitness for higher office. These controversies were not just minor hiccups, but significant issues that drew national attention and scrutiny. The most damaging involved her handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Her decisions during this critical period were widely criticized and became a focal point of her tenure. Noem refused to implement statewide lockdowns or mask mandates, arguing that such measures infringed on personal liberty. This stance was controversial, as many believed it put public health at risk. She even hosted a massive motorcycle rally that critics blamed for fueling a surge in cases. The event drew thousands of attendees and was seen as a significant contributor to the spread of the virus. Then there was the matter of her daughter's real estate appraiser license. This issue further complicated her political career and added to the list of controversies. Noem was accused of using her influence to pressure state officials into granting her daughter preferential treatment. This accusation was serious and suggested a misuse of power. The incident reeked of cronyism and fueled accusations that Noem was more interested in helping herself and her family than in serving the public good. It painted a picture of a leader who prioritized personal gain over public service. These scandals cast a long shadow over Noem's appointment. They raised significant concerns about her ability to lead effectively and ethically. Her critics argued that she was unqualified, unethical, and unfit to hold such a powerful position. They believed that her track record was a clear indication of her unsuitability for higher office, and these controversies would continue to haunt her political career. Section 5. Securing the nation Homeland Security at the heart of Trump's agenda. For Trump, Homeland Security wasn't just another policy area. It was a cornerstone of his administration, a defining element that shaped his approach to governance. It was the bedrock of his presidency, the lens through which he viewed every challenge, domestic or foreign. Every decision, every policy was filtered through the prism of national security. From his first days in office, he made it clear that keeping America safe was his top priority. This was evident in his speeches, his executive orders, and his relentless focus on security measures. He ramped up military spending, ensuring that the armed forces were well funded and equipped to handle any threat. He withdrew from international agreements he deemed unfavorable, believing that these deals compromised America's security and sovereignty, and imposed travel bans on citizens from several Muslim-majority countries, arguing that these measures were necessary to prevent terrorism. But no issue was more central to his vision of Homeland Security than immigration. He saw it as a multifaceted challenge that required a robust and uncompromising response. Trump saw illegal immigration as an invasion, a direct threat to America's sovereignty and its very identity. He often spoke about the dangers he believed it posed to the nation's security and economy, a threat to America's sovereignty and its very identity. He argued that unchecked immigration could undermine the fabric of American society. He vowed to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, increase deportations, and implement stricter immigration policies to protect the nation, and crack down on sanctuary cities, which he believed provided safe havens for illegal immigrants and undermined federal immigration laws. Noem's appointment to Homeland Security suggested that he intended to double down on these hardline policies. Her role was pivotal in advancing Trump's vision of a secure and fortified America. Section 6. A new sheriff in town. What Noem's appointment means for domestic policy. Noem's arrival at Homeland Security sent shockwaves through Washington. Her appointment wasn't just about immigration. It was a sign that Trump was determined to reshape the department in his image, to transform it into a tool for advancing his conservative agenda. Civil liberties advocates worried that Noem would use her power to target Muslims, immigrants, and other minority groups. They pointed to her past statements about radical Islamic terrorism and her support for Trump's travel ban as evidence of her discriminatory views. Others feared that Noem would politicize the department, using it to reward allies and punish enemies. They pointed to her handling of the appraiser licensing scandal as evidence that she was willing to abuse her power for personal gain. Section 7. Cheers and jeers, political divide deepens over Noem's nomination. As news of Noem's nomination spread, the political world erupted. Trump's base was ecstatic. They saw Noem as a fighter, a true believer in the president's agenda. Conservative media hailed her as a rising star and a champion of freedom. But the left was horrified. They viewed Noem as dangerous and extreme, a threat to democracy and the rule of law. Liberal pundits accused Trump of putting a wolf in charge of the hen house. Protests erupted in cities across the country. The battle lines were drawn. Noem's nomination was about more than just one woman's qualifications for a job. It was a referendum on Trump's presidency, on his vision for America, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Section 8. Trial by fire. The challenges awaiting Noem at Homeland Security. As Noem prepared to take the helm at Homeland Security, she faced a daunting array of challenges. The weight of the responsibility was immense, and the stakes were incredibly high. The department was responsible for everything from securing the border, a task that had become increasingly complex and politically charged, to responding to natural disasters, which were becoming more frequent and severe due to climate change, to combating terrorism, a threat that was constantly evolving. And Noem had no prior experience in any of these areas. Her background was primarily in state politics, which was a far cry from the multifaceted demands of Homeland Security. Her lack of experience was compounded by the fact that she was inheriting a department in disarray. The organizational structure was fragmented, and there was a significant lack of cohesion among the various agencies under the Homeland Security umbrella. Trump had already cycled through several Homeland Security secretaries, each departure leaving the agency more unstable and uncertain, leaving the agency demoralized and adrift. The constant leadership changes had eroded trust and confidence among the staff. Morale was at an all-time low. Employees were overworked, underappreciated, and skeptical about the future. Noem also had to contend with a deeply divided Congress. The political landscape was fraught with tension, making bipartisan support a rare commodity. Democrats were already vowing to block her every move, citing concerns over her qualifications and policy positions. Even some Republicans expressed reservations about her nomination, worried that she might not be able to handle the immense pressures of the job. Kristi Noem had always been a fighter. Her tenacity and determination had served her well in the past, but this was a different battlefield. But could she overcome these challenges and succeed in one of the toughest jobs in Washington? Only time would tell. The road ahead was uncertain, and the challenges were many, but Noem was determined to make her mark. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more trending news.